Okay, I'm back now. I'm finishing the video. I had received a call, so I had to stop the video. And I'm just gonna upload this one after the first one. But back to what I was saying, yeah, I said, okay, losing my granny still was tough. And so each day I would begin to walk the park, and I started the fasting and praying. This is my first time ever fasting and praying. Don't know. I knew about fasting and praying as I grew up, but never knew like the depths of it. Never heard nobody just really just explain it to me, like fully understand. And y'all, look, I'm in my natural. Like, this is really shocking to me, being fully natural. The makeup on, just hair, comb, ponytail up. But I know it's nobody but God. He's saying like he need me to become back to my natural self, to be authentically me. This is the hardest thing ever, because like me wearing my real hair, which I cut it, so that's why the ponytail look a little short. I cut it to wear like a little, I guess like say a little bob or something. So I've been just trying to stay on my real hair different ways, you know, just to look more natural. I haven't had weave in, I don't know how long it's been, maybe, it's been some years. I think, no, it's been like maybe 2 years, maybe 2 years, yeah. But anyways, okay, so I'm doing the Tiffany Montgomery fast, the 25 days for marriage, not knowing what it's going to do, not knowing anything about it, like, because I'm just, at this point, I'm like, I already surrendered to you, and I'm like, I know I want to be married. I know that I want marriage. Like, there's no question about it. I always wanted it. I always dreamed to be married. I always dreamed about having my Prince Charming. I always, you know, I always been a desire of mine to be married and have kids, and I always wanted to be married before I have kids. I always said that. So I'm like, well, I started my journey with God, you know, well, maybe, and it popped up on my YouTube. And I was like, well, maybe God telling me to do this fast, you know, not knowing what it was going to do. So I'm feeling good about it, yeah, and this and that, starting it, which I done did the fast maybe like 3 or 4 times already now. It's a fast that you just have to be ready for, because a lot of things is going to come against you. A lot of spiritual warfare, a lot of separation, a lot of things moving out your way. And I remember praying that one prayer when I prayed to God, that one prayer that you pray, that you have to be careful about it, saying, God, remove the people that's not meant to be in my life, or that don't mean no good. That's the fastest prayer that God will ever answer. If you want somebody out of your life, if you truly want it. And at that time too, I think I was still dealing with my ex. We wasn't together. We wasn't messing with each other. None of it was just more of a friendship. But I realized later on that we could not have a friendship at all. It did not work. No friendship with exes. No. Because the one person is going to see it differently. I saw it more just a friendship. That's it. And it was more like a comfort for me, so I wouldn't feel completely lonely. But God showed me later on, like, you don't need this. You okay. You got me. But anyway, so I started the fast, and I did the first, I think I got through the 25 days. And after that, a lot of things, yeah. I don't know if it was before or after I did the fast, but as I'm still doing my journey, I'm walking around the park. It's before I think I started the fast. I started having, I had my first episode of a panic attack. Never knew what it was. I didn't know I was dealing with anxiety. I never knew that. Like, I know I deal with fear my whole life, which that's another story too, but I'm going to get on that subject. Yeah, this is going to be pretty long videos, but it may help somebody. I don't know, and I feel like God telling me, like, tell your story because it may help somebody. I feel like my story might not. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Like, well, people might don't want to hear this, or they might not be going through this, but we just never know what people might be going through. And me, I didn't show it as I was going through a lot of things. So people felt like, okay, well, she's strong. She can handle whatever. She can go do whatever. And yeah, I made it look that way, but no. Fear has stopped me from a lot of things. A lot. But I'm going to get to that. But anyway, so before that, I experienced my first anxiety attack. I was at home by myself. And I just remember, like, my mind was just... And at this time, I think I was smoking weed. Trying it. Thought it was going to help me out to not feel the pain or feel a whole lot better. And I discovered it wasn't for me. It made me think more than what I already was thinking. And I was already an overthinker, so yeah, it didn't help. So I experienced my first panic attack. I just remember, like, me dealing with it. And I was at home by myself. And I was just running and pacing around. I was like, I need you, Jesus. I'm like, help me right now, Lord. Help me, God. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Lord. Help me, God. Help me, Lord. That's all I could say. And at this time, like, my journey wasn't deep with God, but I knew who to call on at that time. I felt like he was the only one that was going to help me. That what I was going through, and I just started calling on him. I just continued to call on him. And I'm just going back and forth, just calling on him. So eventually, I called I think my mom, my sister, and my cousin. And I was just telling them what I was experiencing. And they was like, huh, what? You know, because I ever dealt with anything like this. But I know it was part of it because still I was looking at my life and comparing it to certain things to what I did not have. And I'm looking like, well, is it going to happen for me? And I already had previously continued to get hurt. Nowhere near close to where I feel like my life was supposed to be. Not married yet, not even close to even a relationship to think about marriage. Ever been pregnant. I was told that there was a possibility that I wouldn't be able to have kids. I had issues with my cycles. Age of 16, bleeding like a month straight. And now, as I see my journey now with God, and I had got revelation with maybe like a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, and I thought about it. God reminded me, it was like, you remember when you had the issue with blood? And I remember the lady in the Bible with the issue with blood, and then she said all she wanted to just to touch his garment to be healed. And I remember that. But at this time, when I was young, 16, I didn't know. I'm, 15, 16. So I know about God, but then I know in the depth I ever read the Bible and things like that. And if I did, I didn't remember the story. But so I just thought about that. I was like, yeah, I dealt with the issue of blood. I would bleed heavily to where it was at a point to where the doctors wanted to give me a hysterectomy at a young age. And my mom told them no because eventually she probably want to, have kids. But there was the possibility of saying that I may not be able to have kids. So I've heard that, my entire life. But I still have faith to know, like, well, God can do it. I always still had faith, like, I still will someday be pregnant. I will have my own child of my own. But anyways, okay, so I called my sisters and my cousins. They came over. We all just praying and talk. Well, we were just talking. My mom, she the type, like, still, like, the older person. She's more old school. You know, she don't believe in the things. She don't believe in things I don't believe in. Oh, we dealing with these things. But, you know, I thought she would understand it because of what she had dealt with. I think I was like 18 or 19. She attempted to commit suicide. She stabbed herself 18 times. So she was dealing with things too that she didn't talk about at that age, you know. And I didn't understand it because at this time I had resentment and things. I was mad at my mom because of the situation growing up. You know, I feel like abandoned by her. She's still a sweet lady though. I love my mom, sweet. But at that time she just was still going through her own issues. And as that year she did that, I was still upset with her because of I had graduated and she showed up to my graduation. She was under influence because my mom, she was, you know, was on drugs or whatever. But still capable, still having her business. She still was, you know, very sweet, helping the family. This type of person my mom is. But she was still dealing with her own issues that she did not talk about. So I held on anger though to her, you know, with her on that. But I still showed up, you know, when it happened. When she stabbed herself those many times, I still showed up, and it hurt me. It did. It really did. But at that time, I couldn't understand why she did it. I thought maybe it was just because of the drug use. That's why she did it. But later on, I understand why she did it, because of she was truly dealing with a lot of things. But to this day now, my mom still don't look at it like that's the reason why she did it or however. She still don't really talk about it deep with it. But so like I said, she came, but I would think she would understand it, what I was dealing with. But she was like, "There's nothing wrong with you, girl. You okay? You know, pray about it and things like that." So it wasn't more like from the point of being, I say, emotional, being understanding. You know, I didn't get that. So it kind of hurt a little bit too, but I understood still how she grew up and how she was raised, you know, more tough love and hardcore. Me, I'm the soft person, you know, because I'm growing up mostly with around my granny. So she showed me, you know, love, kisses on the foreheads and telling me I love you and things like that, versus me, my mom, you know, I'm not hearing it as a kid. So anyway, so like I said, I had my first panic attack to where it was so bad to where I didn't want to stay at home. You know, I wanted to be around people, like needed their support. Because I was like, I didn't know what was going on with me. I did not know, but I knew it was something. I knew it was something. So I eventually had to go to the doctor and explain to them what was happening. And they already knew, you know, I didn't know. So, they gave me a medication. It wasn't like a narcotics and things like that though. No, they didn't. So, so I just continued to keep going after that happened. You know, I just kept fighting, kept praying and seeking God's face. I just continued, you know, to do it, fasting and praying. But then I realized later on why I started going through it is because the things that I was doing when I did that fast, I was breaking off a lot of things. I was praying off a lot of darkness off my life. And so, and that fear and anxiety came up heavily because that's what I was dealing with. That's what the enemy had a hold on me with. So then I realized that's why I was having panic attacks. And I was looking at my life also of what I was lacking, what I did not have, and what I felt like God didn't bless me with. And I'm like, God, I'm at this age, why I don't have it? You know, why do they have it and I don't? Why do I have to wait to get it? So still just living life, and I continue to still have panic attacks. from that time. And it was, like I said, I didn't want to stay at home to where I had to go to my cousin's house, you know, and at that time, like, I feel like, you know, nobody wanted to deal with what I was dealing with, and they didn't, because eventually my cousin was telling me, like, you know, yeah, I guess then it was too much for her to deal with at her home, I guess because of maybe what she was going through already. But, you know, when you're going through things, you would think you would have that support, really have that support, because I was the type, like, growing up, I'm the one I always supported people. I always wanted to tell people encouragement words or hear their problems out, like hear what they going through, versus me. And I may be going through some things, but I'm still hearing a person out and encouraging them to get through it, you know. But I feel like I didn't have that. I didn't have that person that I can talk to, or, you know, or if I feel like I did have, I still just didn't express myself in that way. But at this time, I was like, I really needed someone, but it was turned down. I didn't get the support or things that I needed, versus, you know, me. When you seeing, if you seeing yourself as you being a person that supports people when they're going through their things, and encouraging them and giving them words and things and helping them out, and you didn't get the same, so that hurt too. So, you know, but I took it as like God was saying, well, still, you're strong enough, you can deal with it. Go back home. You have your own home. You can deal with it. And I'm here for you. So I went back home, but this time, like, it's like I still didn't want to be at home by myself. It was like I was having so many different thoughts. Couldn't really sleep. I would just continue to walk. I didn't. It was just crazy, you know. And so then I turned still to my ex for support, you know. Discovered he was going through some things himself, you know. So it was like I was supporting him also more than me needing support. I'm like, well, this not gonna, you know, at that time I'm like, okay, this not gonna work. I didn't see it as that, but I needed the support, like somebody just to hear me out, to listen to me, you know. But at this time though, I was single, still been single for what, 6 years, 7 years. Now this year in 2024, 8 years, I have been single. 3 years celibate by the grace of God. But I continue just to be strong and just continue to stick it out. But it still hurt, you know. I was still dealing with a lot. I didn't talk about my problems like that because I just felt like, you know, people didn't want to hear it. I think I started trying to do therapy, which is expensive. So as I'm still just dealing with, I'm going to church every day. I'm, you know, as much as I can, I'm going to church, and I'm just continue to pray. And I'm like, God, I'm waiting on you. You know, I don't want to jump into no relationship that I know is not for me. I don't want to settle. So I just continue to stick it. I just continue praying, trusting him, continue fasting and praying. And so many things just continue. At that time, I did not know what spiritual warfare, but I was dealing with it. But still pushing. It was time still. Like I said, I didn't want to go home. Did not, to where I was staying the night at my ex house. But like I said, but we were still just friends. It was nothing sexual, nothing relationship-wise, none of that. It was just more like a support thing. But eventually, God said no. I had to just cut it completely off. And I did that last year in 2024. The beginning of 2024, I just completely just shut it out completely, because I feel like God was saying, no, move on, let the past be the past, and let it go. Was it easy? No, because it's like I would have to do life by myself. But on the journey too, God just continued to remove. He just continued to remove so many things out of my life. He removed my godson, the kids. I couldn't handle so much. It's like I had to take them to my mom's house because it was like it was so much on me to where I couldn't deal with it. Because I remember I would take them to school every day. I would cook for them every day. I would we would go out of town. We would go on outings. Like we would just do so much together, you know. But I realized, I think God was saying, like, you're doing too much and you're not doing enough for you. You're trying to fill everybody else's cup up but yourself. He was like, your cup is empty. But at this time, I didn't see that because I grew up knowing help, help, help. Help people, help people that need help, you know. So I didn't know, like, okay, you can help people, but you still got to take out time for yourself to build your cup back, fill your cup back up. Because I wasn't taught that, you know. I was taught to continue to give it, continue to help out, no matter how you feel, no matter if you hurt, no matter if you tired, you just continue to do. So yeah, like I said, things just continue to remove away. Did not understand none of this. None of it. And it was just so much. When the kids was at my mom's house, they was, you know, I'm continuing to get calls saying the kids doing this, doing this, and I'm like, it was just so much stress. I'm like, I cannot, you know, handle this. It's too much on me. And I was like, I need help. But I think our mama still was able to still help with the kids. We were able to get them to where I would still have time to myself and get myself together to recuperate and pray and things like that. But eventually I had to have, my godson had to leave. I didn't want him to, but it was just so much stress on me. Him having a disability and things like that, it was a lot, you know. It became frustrating, but still love him though. And I had his mom end up coming to my house too, so both of them was there. So I think God was just saying, like, you're doing, you know, you're taking too much on yourself when you're one person. But I didn't see it there because, like I said, I still want to be the person to help out people. That's just how that was me. But it hurt. Yeah, it did hurt that I had to decide to say, okay, well, yeah, you know, I have to let you two go. You know, they had to go to her son's house, which is my godson brother's house. He ended up moving back to here, Texas. So, and now I realized what God was doing. Now that I can see what he was doing, he was molding me to where I could be strong and heal me, because I was doing the 25-day fastings, but he was saying that you had to heal from a lot of things. You had to release, you had to let go a lot of things, from hurt, betrayal, trauma, things you grew up knowing. I had to be able to trust him more. I couldn't see certain things that I couldn't see, and then he knowing if the kids were still there, I was going to see him because I was going to get frustrated. I was going to probably say bad words that I know I didn't want to say when I get frustrated. So I can see now why he did it, because now I'm at a whole different place now. But so yeah, so things just continue to remove. I was just so confused. I didn't know what's going on. I'm like, God, why is this going on? Why is this going on? So at this, still I'm dealing with this, and I'm like, I started having dreams about, it was like chaotic dreams, but I knew I was seeing boxes in my dream. When I was already feeling like I wanted to move, because I felt like that the place I was at, it wasn't meant for me to be there. So I was like, okay, I'm ready to move, you know. I didn't know where I was going to move to. I started looking for apartments. And so yeah, I was first looking for apartments, but I end up so as we look for apartments, and I said, okay, I want to move, and all still thinking that all of us was going to be together, my godson, my cousins. So I was like, you know what, I might well just get a house. You know, that's what my sister was telling me. She was like, you probably just gonna get a house, because I was looking for bedrooms. I mean, I was looking for apartments, and I was also looking for houses, but the price ranges what I was looking for, it was like I didn't want to pay that. It was this time because I'm looking for rent. But I know previous already that I had wrote down my prayers saying to God I wanted to have a home. You know, that was one of the goals I wanted to accomplish, was to get in a house. So I decided, I'm like, oh well. And at this time too, okay, I started the journey on trying to buy a house. I had to build my credit up for maybe like 5 or 6 months. So I was like, well, let me just build my credit up, and then I'm going to go from there to see about buying a house. And I felt like it was meant for me to buy a house because at this time, which I didn't see it there at this time, I had my Jeep. One of my dream cars I was able to bless to get. Had it for about maybe 3 years, maybe. I had issues with the transmission. The transmission continued to run hot. It continued to run hot. I got it fixed. It did the same thing. It continued to do the same thing repeatedly. So until one day to where it actually caught fire as I was driving it. I thought maybe that, because usually I'll turn it off and let it cool off, and I'll be able to start back driving it again. At this day, I was about to take it to the shop to let the guy work on it again. But I ended up, while I was stopping, because he said that it was running hot, I stopped the car, and me and my dog was just sitting in the car, and just wait till it cooled off. So a guy passed me up, and he was telling me, he was like, your car's on fire, right? But me not knowing, I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, it's not. I said, it's okay. I said, it's just running hot a little bit. I said, but it's not on. No, I said, no, it's on fire. So the guy turned around. He came back up to me. He was like, no. He didn't speak very good English. And he was like, no, come here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I get out the car and I walks around my car. Remind you, I'm still sitting in the car. And my dog. I walk around and I look at the bottom. He's like, look. I see flames at the bottom of the car. And I'm like, wow. All of this time I could think about was God. Because I'm like, this guy sending one of his angels to tell me this. Because, I mean, we could have been still sitting. Me and my dog could have been still sitting in the car. Not knowing that the car was on fire, because I didn't smell nothing. I didn't see nothing, smell none of this. And I was just going to start the car back up once I felt like it was, that it cooled off. And then I knew it was nobody but God, because, well, this time I started to cry. And then he was like, hold on. He come back, he had a whole fire extinguisher, like a big one. The one that you have, like, maybe in apartments or however, or a house. Huge one. And I was like, nobody carried these in the car. So I knew it was nobody but God that sent that man to me. And it was a blessing. And all I could do was thank God at that time. And I could just cry and just thank God. Because I'm like, because me and my dog could have just been still sitting in this car. And flames probably would have just been everywhere. And we would have been stuck in the car to where we couldn't even open the door. So I was able to put the fire out. It was such a blessing. And I had to call AAA for them to tow my car to the shop. And at this time, like I said, I'm still working on thinking about getting a house. But I feel like it was God was orchestrating it to where I was able to have the money to buy my house. I ended up losing my car. But by the grace of God, they paid me, because I still had full coverage, and they paid me the full amount, close to the full amount what I paid for my car. So it was a big lump sum of that money. So I took it as like, well, if this happened, which at this time still I was hurt. So I'm not seeing it like this, thinking about, okay, this is my money to have for the house, because I'm like, I'm losing a car. I don't have a car. But God still blessed me to where I was able to still purchase my home. And still was able to purchase 2 other cars along with my house. A blessing from God. So I went on a journey still to get my house. I got approved for it. And I kept telling myself, like, I'm scared, you know, because I'm like, this is something new. But I kept saying those words, but at that time, I didn't know still about, you know, the power of the tongue, the words you speak. And I kept saying it. I kept saying it. And at this time, as I was saying this, so I got approved. The house that I picked, it was a nice house, true enough, but it wasn't the house that I would pick for myself. But I was going off of thinking, like, the scarcity mindset, like, of what I knew I couldn't afford, or what I knew that I did not want to go over, because I'm like, I didn't want to pay this much a month. And then I was still going out too, thinking about the kids in the house. So I was going large, buying a bigger home, but still in a reasonable price. Now I'm thinking, like, okay, I could have got maybe something smaller and maybe something a little cheaper, but still the price still came out, it wasn't so bad. But what really happened at that time is, like, because I was already still going through these things, but God blessed me right at this point. Even though after still what I had went through, God still blessed me enough. He gave me the money to where I could have down payment and things to move in my house. I chose that house, but later on I feel like it wasn't a house that God probably was telling me to get. But I'm still blessed, you know, that I have a house. I'm still in this house to this day. But I have to say this too, because this is part of my testimony. I'm happy. And at this time, I'm having mixed emotions, though, as I'm signing my contract, as I'm signing the papers for my home. So I already got approved and things like that. But it was still a lit thing, a journey with that, with getting the house, because I'm telling the guy, like, that was selling the house, like, these things need to be fixed. I had to get it appraised. I had to get it I got it appraised. I had an inspector to come out. And I think a guy for the foundation. I had them come out to still look at the house to make sure still that it was livable. You know, make sure that it is good. So I had to pay for the inspection and things like that. However, first time ever buying the house, but I was learning so much. The things you had to do. So the house passed, however. But the guy was having a little trouble, like, to where he did not want to fix a lot of things. He didn't want to negotiate it with a lot of things, because the house did have issues. It was an older house. And so we was telling him, like, well, this has to be fixed before we can do this and that, this and that. And the guy, too, he was his own contractor. So he fixed his own houses, and he fixed it the way he wanted to fix it. Not the way it probably should be fixed, but the way he wanted to fix it, and maybe come out cheaper than what he did. But anyways, so still, I got the house, right? Happy, you know, but still mixed emotions, because still the kids wasn't fully with me, and I haven't told them yet that I was purchasing a home. I just told them that I was doing something, and I was like, they're going to be happy. So I eventually told them, but this time, like, I'm like, the kids, yeah, they're going to go with me, they're going to be with me, you know, we getting us a house, and my godson going to be with me too. I was still dealing with so much, though, to where I couldn't have them. It just didn't feel right having them in the house with me. It did not feel right. So I'm thinking, my God, I'm like, God, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right decision? And this time, like, I think I did, you know, made a mistake. We're probably buying this much of a house thinking that the kids were going to go with me, but I did not know how things was going to go. I'm just thinking, well, I might be going through what I'm going through, but the kids still going to be here, because I'm going to recover from all these things that I'm dealing with, all this hurt and stuff. So, God just started. So this is what is coming in. God just, at this time, I didn't know what was going on, but I feel like now I can say that it was a testing season. It was my Job season, because I feel like he allowed the devil to test me, to take things away from me that he knew that I was putting my trust in, idols and with money and things like that. But I realized now too, that was part of that fast that I was doing. I was praying those things off me. I was praying these things. But me not realizing still how it's gonna show up in my life. I did not know this. So I signed in I think I signed in the end of, it was my birthday time. So really it was like I bought a home for my birthday. It ended up I ended up signing the lease signing the contract the day after my birthday, buying my home. And I moved in the home, I think maybe like a little bit beginning of maybe April, the 1st of April. And so, yeah, everything's just going fine. I'm paying the bills April, May, June, July, August. Then come August, I had more episodes with anxiety. And I had a lot of things going on in my mind. It's like, I feel like it was telling me to release the jobs that I had. Release every job that I had. So I ended up releasing 2 of the jobs that I had. Did not know what this would look like. But at this time, I'm like, I don't know what else to do. It's like someone was pushing me like to release them jobs, because it's like it did not feel right no more to have those jobs. It's like it did not feel right. But now I can look at it like, it's like it was a test. It was the devil coming to me to take things away from me. And he allowed me to freely give it up. And I was like, well, maybe this guy too was telling me release this so I can bring better into your life. To trust him more. But remind you, I'm just buying this house and all these things going on. My income decreased. So at this time, I'm like, what is going to happen with my house? I'm like, I just bought this house. I'm trying to figure it all out. I'm stressed out. Oh, my business, I had a business too, is decreasing. Not getting any bookings. I had savings, but I ended up having to go on my savings because of me releasing my job. And I feel like it was meant for me to do that. But I was scared at the same time. But it's like some kept telling me that I had to do it. Like I had no choice. You had to do it. You had to release that. Scariest thing ever. Because I'm like, this money was secured for me to have my home. For me to be able to afford this home. So, like I said, I released 2 of my jobs and I still had a 3rd one. But it's still the 3rd job. I didn't have enough hours. I ran out of hours, so I still wasn't getting income from that for like maybe 2 or 3 months. I had to wait. So at this time, I'm spending my savings. But God was still blessing me as I was going through that. I started a new church. I met new people. So it was like that. The thing that I was wearing with my house is like, I was putting it in my, like trying to put it back in my mind and still trying to push, even though I know I was stressing and frustrated and things like that. And I was trying to let it get to me because God allowed me to be able to work out. He blessed me to be able to work out every evening. He fixed it to where I was able to do that. But remind you, but I'm still going through this. But so eventually, I started calling, I think my loan company, and I just was asking like, what can I do? And I was calling resources to see like maybe they can help me pay my mortgage, help me with my light bill, my water bill and things like that. But a lot of people, they kept saying they was out of funds, like, and I was like, well, God, I got to continue to trust you, and this time when I'm really building my faith up with God, like I had no choice. Like I made my prayer closet to where I had to go in there every day and seek his face because I didn't know what else to do. I just felt lost. Like I did not know. I wasn't telling nobody about what I was going through. I just kept praying. Like, God, get me through this, God, because I don't know what's going on right now, God. And I'm still scared, but God was still showing me how strong I was, which I didn't realize that I was that strong, but he was showing me like, I got you. But at this time, like, I still couldn't see it because I'm like, God, what is going to happen? I'm going to lose my house. I don't want to lose it. And then I end up coming to terms like, well, if I lose, I lose. It is what it is. That's what I was saying. But I was like, but I went did all this, and now I'm about to lose it. So I'm using my savings to have food. Really didn't have food in the house. So I was just pitching up the little things that I did have in the home, but I still would work at. I still go to church every day. And I remember I had a change drawer that because I used to put change in the drawer. I just save it. But whenever, and I was like, I was saying I was saving for the kids. But end up had to go in and had to spend it. Because I had spent all my savings. And, so I was like, I just kept praying. I was like, God, I trust you, God. I'm like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm just continuing to praying. Just kept praying. This happened just all the way, maybe all the way till December of last year. But I was able to the job started back. So I was able to start working now with this job, but I was still feeling like I wasn't still supposed to work it. I was supposed to release everything. That's just how I was feeling. But somehow I just kept working the job because it was a more work from home job. So I just kept working it. But God was showing me how strong I was because once I found that I didn't get the resources from anybody, no churches, no not from the city. So I called my loan thing and I was telling them what's going on, my income decreasing, things like that. Never knew that, they help. So I applied for it was a hardship. And it would give you time. It would give you time, I think, to maybe find another job, or it would still give you time to where your home wouldn't go in foreclosure, to where you would still be able to keep your home, until they figure it out. So I was blessed when I was able to start that job, and I had to start paying. It was a program they had to where I had to pay, I think, for 3 months. I had to pay a reduced amount. But I was blessed enough to where I have the money to pay it for them 3 months. So I got approved for the hardship program after doing it. So, and as it's going on still, then I stepped out on faith. The little money that I did have, I stepped out on faith. And I was like, God, I just trust you, because I already had my business. I was renting out my church. They was renting out, but not as they wasn't being booked as they usually would. So I was like, I decided to add something else to my business, because somebody had booked the church for me, and then she was asking me, she was like, do you have the 360 booth? And I was like, no, I don't have, but I was thinking about getting it eventually. And she was like, yeah, you should get it. She was like, I think that'll be, good to add to your business and things like that. So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I really don't have the money to get it. But I'm like, should I get it, Because I still had a little money still coming in. And that was like the money that I had, and I really didn't have nothing left. So I stepped out on faith. I purchased I was trying to do the payments on it, but somehow it wouldn't let me do the payments. So somehow I accidentally paid for the full price of it, for the item, the 360 that I added to my business. So it went through, and then so I was like, oh God, I didn't mean to do that, Oh God, what should I do? So I was like, God, if it's meant for me to get this, God, you'll work it out to where you'll bless me to where I get more money and be okay to still be able to still pay take care of everything, the bills at home. So I just put the faith in him, and I just trust him, and I just said, okay, I'm gonna leave it alone, and I'm just gonna let it, and I'm not gonna cancel the order. I'm just gonna let it come. And I did that. And still, like I said, still just trusting God. It was nobody but God, because my faith had strengthened even more and more. And I never thought I could do that. Like, I have ever released no jobs. You know, I always worked, because I always knew to work. I never did. I have just really just had a business and just think about just complete business. So, but once I received it, the lady ended up booking it, the trail plus the 360. And from there on there, it just continued getting booked out. Did not really know what I was doing when I got the 360. But I would just kept saying, God, I just trust you, God. You know, I'm just keep trusting you. Whatever it looks like, you know, and I'll just continue to trust him. Like, I'll continue to trust you to provide things like that. And to this day now, I can say that he have turned it around. Is it hard for me to realize that? Yes, because it's like I was still so traumatized from what happened, thinking that I was about to lose my home, not knowing next, because I didn't have nowhere else to go. You know, it was just so crazy for me. But he still brought people in my life to help me out while I was going through these things. He still gave me the strength to continue to keep pushing every day while I was still going through all these things in life. To this day now, he's still giving me strength. To where now I'm like, I just keep questioning myself, like, should I get rid of my house? Can I afford it? Can I afford it? Like, that's what could keep popping in my mind. But God's showing me, like, you can. But some days it still is hard. It's hard to still just continue just to completely just trust God with everything. Like, it's not easy. And how I grew up, I didn't know these things, you know, but God, I could see what he's doing in my life. How I kept praying and things like that. He turned it around to where he made my business to where it started prospering more. To where it continued to start prospering every week. And I was like, God, this nobody but you. It's not me. This you all day, because my business before this, my business wasn't doing what I thought. It wasn't doing what it's doing now. Do I still get discouraged? Yes. Do I still have fear? Yes. And that's another thing still with fear. I think I still would have to probably record a whole nother video with it. But God has really lifted me up. Like, he have really had me overcome so many things that I thought that I could never overcome. But God did it. I can see how he's moving in my life, because my life looks so different. It looks totally different from where now I have new friends and new church house, a new to where I'm in ministry now. Like, it just looks so different from me. Didn't I think that it would happen? And why I say this too, while I was going through all this, going to ministry school, I'm thinking, like, I don't know, you know. I was offered it, that I asked, like, they was to join, you know. I was like, well, you know what? Let me just try it. What else, you know? Let me just try it. And I felt like it would have to be God was telling me to do that. And this whole time, it's like he just continued to strengthen my faith. He just continued to strengthen me. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. Building up me. Like, from me going through this whole thing, he was showing me, I guess, like, you can do this. You can truly do this. And so I say this, like, no, from what I have learned, my revelation, no matter what you're going through, God gonna be there for you. I didn't ever see it like that. I always thought the worst. I always thought the worst would happen for me, that everything bad was gonna happen. But God showed me, like, no, I got you. Just trust me. Just trust me. But some days are harder than the next, yes. Like, I'm trying to trust him with my marriage. I'm trusting him with becoming a mom. Like, I'm trusting him with all these things. I'm trying, but every day look different. I mean, because the devil continue to put lies in your head. Like, that's what he do. to get you not to believe what God said. But I can still say that God turned it around and he put people in my life. He had me to go to the places to help me to get through the things that I was dealing with. Because family couldn't do it. Parents couldn't do it. Couldn't nobody do it but God. God was the one who got me through it. It's so many things now that I'm doing that I'm so amazed at myself. Like, is it really me that's doing this, you know? Dreams that he done had me to do. Things that I never think that I would do. Starting school. Things that I would never think that I saw, like, on TV. I saw, well, oh, I maybe can be that one day. You know, things I saw on TV or I seen people do, never thinking that it would be, you know, actually me going forward to try it. A lot of different things where I see how God really have came through when it comes to fear and things like that he have lifted up. Because I had fear on me like it was a blanket, like it was having that stronghold on me, like seriously. But I thank God every day that he is getting me through it all. I'm still on my journey right now and still trying to trust him. I still have my days to where my mind still tell me things like, oh, this and that, you know, negative thoughts and things like that. But I still try to just continue to pray and say how grateful I am for where I am right now. Because I'm still in my home right now. God still blessed to where I was still able to keep my home. Despite of what happened. Still have both of my vehicles. And each time that my vehicle, even though I might didn't have no money, but each time my vehicles broke down, God still supplied that need of getting it fixed. He continued to supply it. He continued to supply that I was able to eat, have a roof over my head, still had heat in my home. Just yesterday, I had an issue with my home. Complete electric went out. The whole breaker box went out. And I knew God was in it because all I could say was, God, I trust you, God. I know you already got it taken care of, God. That's nobody but God. He raised up my faith. Because if it was over me, I would have been worried. I would have been stressed out. I would have been probably calling this person. Like, I don't know what this to do. I don't know what to do. But I told God, I was like, God, I trust you. I know it's already taken care of. You already got it done. It's already done. And by the grace of God, I had a warranty. You know, I got a warranty company. And then they was able to fix it. And all the thing I had to pay was $50 out of pocket. They came out that same day. Usually it takes them 24 hours to 48 hours to come out. God made it to where the guy came out the same day to where, because it's cold right now in Texas. Like, yesterday it was, 16 degrees. The guy came out that same day and fixed it, and it was, my electric was back on. And I didn't have to come out of nothing extra in the pocket. There's nobody but God. God had me talk to another thing where I went, it was just the other day. I end up leaving my keys because my car is like a keyless thing. So I end up leaving my keys at home. I was rushing to get to work out. So I had to get an Uber to go to the house. I had to get an Uber, go home and come back to get my car. It was just a mess, but I just kept smiling. Like, I didn't try to get mad. I didn't get frustrated. But I see God was still, and at this time I was like, I want to be at church because I had church night. I think it was Bible study. And I was like, that's where I really want to be at. But I'm like, how can I make it if I don't have my keys? But God had me still minister to somebody. It was a guy, my Uber driver. He was telling me about his problems, what he was going through. He was saying about how he felt like a failure. He was hurt. The things he did while he was in a relationship, he felt like he messed it all up. He felt like he messed up his career. He felt like he just messed up his whole life. And he was like, the only reason why he living is because of his dogs. He was like, if it wasn't for his dogs, he was like, he wouldn't be here. He was like, take yourself out. So as I'm hearing this story, I'm like, God, you want to use me at this time. So that's all I seen. I was like, God, there's nobody but you. But he had to take me through something, be able to tell somebody their story. Because I was able to give him encouragement words. And he was telling me, like, he don't really believe in God. So I had, I started ministering and telling him, like, how God say, his lost sheeps. However I had to think about it, like, what he want me to do and what he has me to do, while I'm in ministry, like, get the lost and have them come to me. And so I took it as like there was a lost person and I was bringing them to God. I was telling him how God brought me through things. I was telling him, like, I still deal with it every day, but I was telling him how God still was bringing me through it. And I told him, try God. I said, even if you might not believe in him, I said, but try him. Give him a try and see how it works out for you. And he just kept saying, I'll try. And I was like, that's all I, want you to do. And I was like, God love you. No matter what you look, I was telling him, no matter how you see yourself, God still love you. And I was like, we all going to make mistakes in life. That's part of life. We got to learn from them. So I know none of us is perfect. We have to make mistakes in life so we can learn for the next time when we get into something, when we do something, we'll know how to move. And I just felt so good that I was able to encourage him, because it really hurt my heart because of how he was feeling, because I understood it. I understood where he was coming from. I understood how he felt. And he was saying to himself, he been single for a long time. And I was telling him too, how long I've been saying, like, I've been single for 8 years. So I understand where you coming from. I get it. I was like, but I was on the other end. I got hurt. I was the one that got hurt. I didn't do the hurt, and I was the one getting hurt. But I told him, I was like, just because you may have hurt that person, don't make yourself feel bad. I said, you still young, you growing, you still learning. We all are. But I just had to say, I just pray that this video helps somebody. I know it's a long video, but whoever stayed to watch to the end, I pray that this video blessed you guys, because it took me a lot to get this out. And I know I have more to say. And I just know that I feel like God has more for me and whoever still is watching it.